Okay, we are now going to start. Senator Obama. The mics are working, so continue. Senator Boyle with the B. Senator Carter. Awesome, thank you. Senator Chow. Senator Boyle with the G. Senator Greenwald. Here. Senator Haridi. Here. Senator Han. Here. Senator Kim. Senator Kim. All right. Senator Lake. Here. Senator Bryce Lee. Here. Senator Lee. Here. Senator Perez. Here. Senator Sardiadu. Here. Senator Sun. Yeah. Senator Theodoris. Present. Senator Wong. Here. Senator Whitney. Here. Senator Wright. Here. And then Senator Zucchini. Awesome. We're going to ask one more time. Senator Kim. Senator Kim. Okay. Are there any motions to amend the agenda? Yes, Senator Carter.
Motion to cut announcements to 1 minute.
Awesome. Is there a second?
Objection.
There is an objection. Are there any other motions to amend the agenda? Yes, Senator Carter.
Motion to cut announcements to 90 seconds.
Is there a second? Senator Perez. Are there any objections? All right. Senate announcements at the end will only be 90 seconds. Or a minute, 30 seconds. However you want to read that. Any other amendments? Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? Senator Carter.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Lovely. Can I get a second? Senator Perez. Are there any objections? The agenda has been adopted. Moving on to guest announcements. We have UCPD reports with Nicholas Hernandez. Is he here today? All right, look at that. He is not here today. We have no guest announcements. And we are now going to move on to general public comments. Our first general public comment will be from Kabir, and it is going to be about Jovanka Beckley for State Assembly. You have 2 minutes, and whenever you're ready. Beckles. I'm so sorry, I cannot read that.
That's my bad handwriting.
I should know her last name.
Hi everyone.
Flip it up. 2 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Kabir Kapoor. I was the field director and campus organizer on Jovanka Beckles' campaign. Also was an ASUCD senator at UC Davis in 2010, 2011, 2012. I was part of Occupy when that happened up there. I'm here because there's an election next week. And the candidate for this assembly district, which is Hercules to North Oakland, includes all of Berkeley. That's the progressive champion of this race is Jovanka Beckles. She supports the repeal of Costa-Hawkins, which is Prop 10 on the ballot. The rent's too damn high. I think you all know that as students. The opposition does not support that. She supports tuition-free education. She was just endorsed by Bernie Sanders. He was just in town, you might have seen. She's a Richmond City Council member, 2-term, and she's fought for a higher minimum wage there. And she has a lot of union endorsements and a lot of student endorsements to count them support her. She's supported by a lot of former senators here and current senators. And she's also endorsed Rigel, who's running for your city council district here, and Kate Garrison, who's, I think, represents another progressive seat on the Berkeley City Council. So I'm going to be sitting back there with flyers if you have any questions. I think my time is almost up, so thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Remember to vote.
All right, thank you so much. We are now moving on to executive officer reports. Our first report of the night is going to be from President Alexander Wolford. Is Alexander Wolford in the room or any of his representatives? Okay, looking at their reports from the president, we will move on to the MVP alphabet with her chief of staff, Kylie, giving announcements.
Yes! Sorry, I really like Kylie. Send you a presentation.
Whenever you're ready, I'll send them.
Yes! Figure the next slide. Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, so on the local level, yesterday the city council had a meeting, and the fair chance ordinance was on their agenda. So we went to go give public comment, but they actually passed it before we showed up, so that wasn't needed. But yeah, so it's going on to the 4x4 now, and we'll be showing up there. This pretty much would ban the box on housing applications, so not allowing discrimination based on prior incarceration history. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be having a Unite Against Hate Week bystander intervention training. So I encourage you all to show up to that, to let community members know about that. Our local affairs director will probably be reaching out to your offices. And then we're working on student city commissioner spotlights. Okay, on the state level, we're currently having district office meetings. This is a picture with State Senator Nancy Skinner. And you can see the nifty little poster that one of our staffers made. We're pretty much just going around thanking representatives for their support last year in our funding asks in hopes that they support us again this year. We're going to be having a budget town hall with these three folks showing up, the UC CFO, the UC Berkeley CFO, and a doctoral candidate. And so this is pretty much going to be talking about like where our tuition's going. So if any of y'all pay tuition, which you all do, you have a stake in this. So I encourage you all to show up to this as well. We'll be sending out emails, inviting y'all and asking you to share it and invite community members. On the national level, we sent in the Title IX letter that most of y'all signed on to, and it was shared with the Office of Management and Budget yesterday. Just an update on that. It's actually been reported today that there's been a change to the proposed policy from Betsy DeVos. Instead of allowing cross-examination, they're now going to require that accusees can cross-examine the accuser, which is very problematic, and that brings up a lot of traumatic experiences for survivors. And so we're going to be continuing lobbying in December against that. And then when it is proposed, we'll be organizing public comments, and we'll be asking y'all to uplift that work. We did a letter campaign for Title IX today with Sakshi's office. This Friday, we'll be having a Phone Bank Friday, so please stop by Sproul. This is going to be in response to the Department of Health and Human Services new transgender definition. So they're going to be defining gender as defined, or gender will be defined as either male or female, and it'll be based on your genitalia at birth. So it completely erases transgender folks and gender non-conforming folks. Our December DC lobby trip application is closed tonight at 11:59 p.m. We'll be lobbying on higher education affordability, sexual violence policy, this new transgender definition, and as well as immigration. Our CPT OPT workshop with Senator James Lee was a success. We're currently working with Andy Sakshi and James on International Education Week. And then our international department has chosen to focus on Venezuela. And so we're going to be, I don't know if you all have seen like our Peek at the Week graphics we've been posting. Those are now going to focus on Venezuela. And we'll be hopefully putting together a panel on that sometime at the end of the semester. Vote Coalition. So check out our website. Thanks to William for putting this together. So at the website, you can find your polling place. The graphic pretty much says it all. If y'all want to share that, that'd be awesome as well. On Tuesday, we will be having Party at the Polls. So we have a polling station in MLK, and we'll be having, it's not really going to be a party, but actually, yeah, it's going to be a party. There's going to be music. So yeah, roll through there. And then Tuesday night, we'll be having Elections Watch Party in here. There will also be food, and we will be watching the election results, so come through to that. And then just a couple more things about VoteCo. Clarification on the ballot drop box. So the ballot drop box is primarily for Alameda County ballots. If you are out of county, you need to put a stamp on your ballot. If you're out of state, you cannot put your ballot in the ballot drop box. We'll be tailing every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Sproul with stamps for those who are out of Alameda County. We'll also be tailing at dining halls to answer voting related questions. And then Bears to the Ballot, Chi Omega 1 Part 1. which means they have the highest percentage of registered voters on their team. So there's still a part 2. I forget exactly what part 2 is about. And then so UC Regions meeting is coming up November 14th to 15th. We'll mainly be asking, we'll be organizing around our asks for a choir, which is around undocumented students resources. And then we'll be organizing around Title IX as well, giving public comment on those 2 issues. Any questions?
Yes, Senator Woody.
If an out-of-state student puts their ballot in the box, what happens?
I don't know. I can have our vote coalition director look into that. We're oh sorry.
Go ahead,
Just to we're hoping that maybe we can talk to Alameda County and like just give them hello stamps for people, because I know some like out of county people have put their ballots in there without stamps on them. Yeah.
Are there any other questions for Colin? Final calls. All right, thank you so much, Colin. Moving on, we have the president reports. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great.
I wanted to make New Hop proud today, so I'm going to be a ballot box for Halloween. I'm not even kidding. I'm actually, it's going to happen. All right, so just real quick, happy Halloween. PA Visibility Day was awesome, really good. We had a good student union overall meeting. I should say just a wider student union board meeting. Looked at our finances, which is, we're working on it. So that was something that we're kind of trying to prioritize soon. CAPRA meeting went well, and then I had a meeting with Vice Chancellor Sutton around CNP, which is going to be one of our biggest priorities coming up next week. He was kind of saying how we want to collect some data to see where we're at with it, because he's also not convinced of the policy, but also knows that like without data, we can't really do much about this. So moving forward, we've got a CERC meeting, we've got a CCRT, so I know there's some movement there, and then the CACSIF meeting, so we're going to start finalizing proposals or approving proposals for CACSIF, so if you submitted one, stay on the lookout for that, and we'll let you know what goes on there. We also had the first mayor's student advisory board meeting. I wasn't able to attend, but I know some folks were, and I think that's really productive. So I'm glad that we got that institutionalized and ready to go every month. I think we're looking for what we're going to talk about next month. So let me know if you have any ideas. I was thinking around safety and those conversations, so that could be a good thing to talk about. So I'm excited for that. Okay, so this is the just talking more about CNP a little bit. We're looking at how many, essentially right now what we're trying to weigh up is how many students are being dropped from their classes versus how many students are being affected by the policy. And so what we need to do is have a wide survey that's circulated by the AACC to see where the effects are for students on these policies compared to how many students were dropped. 2 years ago, it was like 15 students that were dropped. So, and I can, bet all the money in the world that more students were being affected by the CNP than that drop number, but I don't know if that's increased. So we want to make sure we're looking out for that and getting a good amount of data before we make a concerted effort. We're going to also put a resolution on the agenda for next meeting, just reaffirming the resolution that Rigel passed or wrote 2 years ago. So yeah, and then Office Spotlight, Lee and Daniel. Lee is the person who holds me accountable in terms of attending meetings, organizing meetings, all that. And so you probably communicated with him or gotten mad at me for referring you to him. But he's great. He's fantastic. He's always there supporting me. And Daniel does all the accountability and oversight stuff. So I wanted to recognize them this week. Cool. Just in general, by the way, please email president@acc.org. So I'm trying to get away from using my just personal Berkeley email. So please just email president@acc.org because I'm getting spammed with both, and it's kind of annoying, and both my inboxes are filled.
Awesome. Any questions? All right, with no questions, that concludes your announcements. Thanks so much. Going through this meeting. So up next we have announcements from Melanie.
Yeah.
Hi y'all. So this is what I spent the last 2 hours working on. Basically, at our last all staff meeting last Sunday, an intern brought up that they'd like to know a little bit more frequently what's going on in our office. So I'm planning on setting out a bi-weekly newsletter. If y'all are interested in also receiving this, like let me know and you can be added to the newsletter list. But basically, I didn't write out my announcements because they're basically already all on here. Couple things to flag. These are my meetings. Can I just? Yeah. This is hard. Okay. So these are our meetings. Also, our meeting tomorrow with the Office of the Registrar to talk about GPAs. We're moving, as I mentioned several times, to having that put on Cal Central and then working on the budgeting with them a little bit further. And then we have a meeting on Monday to talk with the CTO and Chancellor for IT to discuss working on integrating more digital learning into the classroom setting and expanding classes that are recorded. We met with the SLC, so I don't know if any of you knew, but I was personally reached out to about how the SLC had cut working groups. And SLC is used by majority low income and students of color, and so that was a really big issue. Austin and I met with one of the directors there, and she informed us that they were cut for this semester, but that they're looking into expanding them and redoing them for next semester, and so we're collaborating with her on that. We also plan on writing a Daily Cal op-ed just about the SLC and its functions. Academic Senate divisional meeting was on Monday. That went well. I advocated for more representation for students, mental health and resources, DSP, and a couple of other things. If you want to see what I actually said, I have it written up. And then the general topics that they were talking about at that meeting were DSP accommodation, and then they were also talking about publications, which more deals with the PhD program and professors. And then do you want to go to, yeah, right there works. Well, if you could go up a little bit to wellness. So we're having our wellness thing or wellness week this semester or this week. And then these are the kinds of things that we're working on for the rest of the semester. I don't think that anything here specific that we need a flag for you all, but I can send this out so you all know. But yeah, that's all I really have.
Awesome. Any questions for Melanie? Yes, Senator Reed, and then Senator Doyle, and then Senator Khan.
I think for me and the other senators maybe that want to work more with academic senate, I think it'd be helpful could we get a document or something as a guide for how proposals move through academic senate, which committees they go to, how that works with DIVCO and division council, because I know that's a confusing process and I know I've been confused, so.
No, yeah, so we have an academic senate director, Tabitha Hall, and that's her department for this semester. So as we get more and more information, because they like to switch it up on us every now and then, we'll be finalizing that out and sharing that out with the wider student health so that they can also address academic senate.
Senator Doyle.
I had a quick comment about the hammocks. I love that. That's awesome.
Right?
So we can help.
Hammocks and yoga mats.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Senator Khan.
Hi. So question about the SLC work groups. So I know that the reason it was finance, right? That they
No, so actually that's what we thought. We went in thinking that it was finance, and it's actually a really, really funny story. So part of it was that professors were being very, they're not communicating as well as they should with the SLC. And so the SLC will ask to literally come in to classes 5 minutes before the class even starts to give a presentation about their resources, and professors will still tell them no. even though it doesn't cut into their class time at all. So that was one factor. Students weren't utilizing the resources. I think that they said that they had a physics working group and there were 3 people that showed up for like the entire, like everyone for physics. So that was ridiculous. And the biggest issue that they had with cutting classes in the liberal arts side, less STEM and economics, was that the person that oversaw it, like the director that was overseeing everything, actually quit. And they quit. It was 2 twin brothers that were running it, and they both quit because they were in a pool of people and they won the lottery. So they just quit. And so it's like if your main directors win, like you win the lottery, like they're not going to stick around if they won the lottery. And they were Berkeley graduates. So they were Berkeley graduates that like went on to work at the SLC in like a professional setting. And so obviously like they like won the lottery and like ran off and did whatever they wanted to do with that. But yeah, that's why they quit. And so they obviously couldn't operate the working groups this year and like in such short notice because it was like literally like lottery win, next like yeah, social sciences. Yeah. Yeah, so they won like a couple $1 million, so they were just done. Yeah. Yeah.
So that means that
They're coming back. They just want, so what they wanted to do, so with the STEM ones, it was more of like students not utilizing it and then not having direct communication. And then the social sciences was that they won the lottery. And so what they're doing, it's not a financial issue. They obviously need more finances, which is something that we'll address in our op-ed, but they don't plan on cutting those permanently. Yeah.
got it, thank you.
Senator Doyle?
I don't know if you went over this, but in policy I see, is that SVHS or SVSH?
That might be a typo.
So if it's SVSH, what is that?
Policy SVHS.
Oh, yeah, it's a typo, but that is something that I'm pretty sure you're looped in on. You know that long email thread about an event next semester?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely in
I
that.
saw it, but
Yeah, you're in that.
Awesome. Any other further questions for Melanie? Fun, awesome.
Yeah, it's just to flag it for like the folks in my office that don't know we're working on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mom. All right, up next we have executive officer reports from student advocate Sophie. Now are you ready, Sophie? Okay. Looking at Sophie is not here yet, we can move on to EVP announcements. So a couple of things, I'll keep this very short. We are on, I would want to say, stage 2 of tax financial validation. So what that means is the proposals that you all sent in, or your team members and organizations have sent in, have been ranked, and they've been ranked in 3 different tiers. If your proposal, if you have sent a proposal, please let me know, and I can help, I can let you know where it is right now, it's standing, etc. Also, we have received a few complaints in an email about RSO usage on the 3rd floor, space usage is clarified. And so we really, I'm going to work with my space director to really just handle that problem, just because people are propping doors open on the 3rd floor. There are people setting up their own tables. There's some dance teams setting up their own tables in there. And then people are just using that space to facilitate more of a space usage than community organizing or organizational usage. So we're really gonna have to run that down and make sure we know and understand how the space is being used. We are also auditing University Davis tomorrow to see if there are any found lost items that have been reported. If not, we will be, and let your organizations know if this happens to them. We will have to see the receipt if we cannot find it auditing. We will then reimburse them through future purchases of the same item. So reimbursing for the item, not financial. And then our office is also currently in programming with Senator Kentucky's office in terms of club fairs, with concentrations of types of clubs on each day property. On that, just so it's like a super sweet time where people get more time than just a certain week of just rushing for marketing campaigns to know what clubs are on campus. We're gonna organize into categories so people are more familiar. Okay, today is gonna be about business, today is gonna be about engineering, STEM, etc. So really excited about that. And then you will get a beacon by student from my space director in regards to the Ashland Town Hall emergency protocol meeting. It is in planning. And then thank you all for who have gone through the Senate check-ins. They have been superb so far, super fun. And so please have one person of all 10 of you, just one person sign. We have 10 this week and 10 next week. Make sure you get 2-week progress, and then I'm checking with you one last time in the end of the semester to see how we progress going on to the spring semester and what we can do for you the second half of the year in your term. And then that is about it for my announcements. Are there any questions? Yes, Senator Wong.
Could you repeat the collaboration project with you on the days? Like, what does that mean?
So I think we don't have anything solidified if you're asking what days, but if you're asking days, it's in terms of having a week-long event in which each day there's a category of organizations being represented and tabling. Also doing that categorically so that people can understand today is this day. These are the clubs that are involved in terms of the realms of business, in terms of the realms of STEM, in terms of the realm of cultural ethnic clubs.
And
I understand.
like you're talking about tabling on Star, right?
Love and Sprout.
Oh,
It's kind of like a modified version of College League.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, I know this is like weird follow-ups, but because Anthony Garrison, the lead center, he and I were talking about Upper Sprawl having set days for different clubs. So
I think if this is a common theme, we can all work together and see what can happen. And I'd love to bigger the better, right? So yeah, we can talk offline. We can talk about it. This is my office, or in contact with and talk and stuff. Yeah, we can talk. Love to help out. Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Anything else? Any other questions? Final calls. Yes, Senator Gore.
I remember last week you talked about there being new spaces, or like just like you talked about the possibility of getting new spaces allocated.
Yes, that is correct.
But it happened to work.
Yeah, so I can refer back to the timeline for you. Just give me 1 second as I get the notes for that. And so as of October 29, the space called Demo Space, has been finished and open, like for people to actually check it out how it's like in terms of the people who are pertinent to the space renovation. And so what happens is there's 2 entire sections of cubicles in that Demo Space, right? And that's a third of which constitutes a third of the entire space, and that's 10 total cubicles that is going to be delegated by the agency for space usage for organizations, communities. And so what we need to do with the infrastructure is conduct a fair process. And so by mid-November, how we want to time this is by mid-November, we want to be finished checking out spaces and opening an application, which we will ask for your help to market it heavily so that all student organizations have the opportunity to know what this is. And then once that is done, spaces we hopefully will and ideally be allocated by the end of the semester / during winter break. So then by the time second semester begins, these 12 cubicles will be occupied for usage by different student organizations that are in need of this. Like we will have a fair process in how we necessitate what is important. So I hope that clarifies your question. It is still happening. It's a long-term process. Awesome. Any other questions? Cool. We're gonna move on to student applicant announcements with Sophie.
Hey, so sorry I missed my announcements. Okay, so really quickly, meetings of the last week. So on Monday we met with the Housing Security Oversight Committee, which Regina chairs, and it was really exciting because we got to look at like the first data for the summer and fall recipients of the Grant Security Fund. Wellness has been meeting. There was a town hall on Monday, which I know all of us were looped into, and I thought it was interesting. I think Amir was there, just to see like non-HT people ask the chancellor questions and what they're thinking about. We met with the graduate assembly on Friday about the possibility of having a grad student, like student advocate equivalent, like a case manager. So we're going to be starting those conversations with Luis from Equity and Inclusion, but starting in a very preliminary way. We've been having a lot of meetings around the basic needs referendum, the possibility of running one today. We submitted a draft for the basic needs referendum. I mentioned it last week, but again, if you're interested at all in getting involved in those conversations or want to hear what our draft looks like and what we're going to be prioritizing, please come talk to me or Regina or Connor, good people to reach out to. I had a call for the Student Advisory Board for Title IX about, we talked about how to work with advocacy and the strike around their claim for asks on sexual harassment, and then a couple of other things for recommendations. I helped or worked with EADP to release a response to federal Title IX changes that we've been talking about. I know a lot of you signed and a lot of folks from the board, the UC-wide board signed, and it was delivered today, so that's really exciting. And then we've been actually having a lot of emergency housing cases. I just wanted to flag as like a resource that we have, and you can, it looks like it's sort of happens to be a time of the year where there's a lot of housing insecurity, and just whenever like rent is due, we get a lot of people reaching out to us, so that's always something that you can refer folks from your communities to. In terms of upcoming meetings, we're going to be meeting with Financial Aid and Scholarship on Friday to talk about our winter break housing program. We're meeting with Sharon and Nicholas tomorrow about just a couple of timeline projects. We're going on a retreat this weekend, which is really exciting as a whole office, so that'll be really fun. And then next week I have also a housing support protocol meeting with different stakeholders in student affairs and equity and inclusion around building out the homeless protocol. And then CCRT, the Chancellor's Coordinated Review Team, is meeting on Wednesday. That's just different stakeholders around sexual harassment and violence. Yeah, those are my announcements.
Awesome. Are there any questions for Sophie? Final call.
Where are you going?
Oh, good question. We're going to San Rafael. We're short 3 cars, so if anyone wants to lend me their car. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Wow. Moving on, we now have reports from Anamasia, Incident Fire Violence Commissioner. I believe you will have our event today. Awesome.
Whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone. As you can see, Anna isn't here. She had some other reasons and another meeting to attend. But I am Cynthia Garcia Vialta. I've been part of the IPDC for about 2 years, and I'm now the Associate Director. So any contacts other than Anna Macia, I'd be her. So to remind you what IPDC stands for, it stands for Intimate Partner Violence Commission, and we work to provide education, resources, support for the UC Berkeley campus surrounding the issue of intimate partner violence. We recently started and we launched a program around, I think, last year in collaboration with several East Bay schools, and we usually go into their classrooms and train students on dating violence. And we have several projects that we had lined up for the semester that we started, and that was pairing up with the YWCA on providing education to middle school girls. We've taken on this initiative of like future generational education on dating violence, starting at a very young age from middle school to even elementary schools. And so recently we visited 2 middle schools, Willard Middle School, and we gave a workshop for the girls. And yeah, again, it's because we want to set a foundation at a very young age. And we are looking forward to working with them again to facilitate a conference for them around November 14th, when we will be leading a workshop on healthy relationships and boundaries. And then continuing to visit high schools in the area where we talk about dating violence to the students. It's because it's not included in their current curriculum. So it's important that high school students receive this type of education because domestic violence is such a prevalent problem in Oakland. So right now we are partnered with 2 high schools, both of them in Oakland. So one of them is Arise and one of them is Unity. Again, Anna, as of last year, was able to accomplish to educate a student body of around 1,000 students. So that was for Unity High School, and we are partnering with them again to educate their 9th graders, and we're starting to move on to new high schools. And this week we also had a photo campaign on Sprout where we wanted to raise awareness on domestic violence. And because it is Domestic Violence Month, and today was the last day for that, but we also had students, write why it was important to end domestic violence and took their photos. So check out online to see a nice collage on how many students participated during this campaign. And yeah, further projects include working with campus organizations to give dating violence presentations to them. We're currently having a lot of our members reach out to various campus organizations that were interested in having a domestic violence training, and we're still working on scheduling those. So that's right about it about our projects. We really focus on outreach and both in our campus and outside our campus. So, yeah, thank you.
Are there any questions? Final questions? All right, thank you so much, Ethan. All right, so moving on to financial wellness, Commissioner Terry Jason Liu, you're up.
All right. Good evening. My name is Jason, and I'm the chair of the ASUC Financial Wellness Commission. I will do an oral report on the operation of our commission. So since the last report, we've held 5 regular meetings on September the 26th, October the 3rd, 10th, 17th, and 24th. So before each meeting, I assign a research topic to all commission members, and everyone will write a short report on the topic assigned. So far, we've covered topics including credit, financial aid and scholarships, renters' right, and salary negotiations. We'll explore more topics related to financial wellness in the future. Secondly, the financial wellness survey that we created this semester has received more than 60 responses, and we will continue dispersing the survey and try to get as much responses as possible to establish our financial wellness database. Thirdly, we plan our first big event this semester, the Personal Finance Speaker Panel. The speaker panel will be on November the 14th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. and the location is still to be determined. We've successfully invited 5 speakers to our panel, including the coordinator from Personal Financing Planning Program of UC Berkeley Extension, 1 representative from Next Generation Finance, 1 professor from HAS, the Financial Wellness Outreach Manager from Berkeley Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, and a Senior Business Manager from Personal Capital. The speaker panel will be in a format of a moderated Q&A discussion, and I'm looking forward to our first big event this semester. Lastly, we've successfully created our website using Squarespace, and I will communicate with the Chief Communication Office to try to link our website to the ASUC website page. That's all. Thank you for your time and patience.
Awesome. Any questions? Final calls?
Thanks for following up with me.
All right, thank you so much, Jason. So before we start CLO announcements, CFO Sophie cannot make it because of another interfering meeting. So she sent us a video, which I will play right now on the screen. Right. She said she feels bad that she cannot make it, so that she recorded it so that you can see her and have any questions I can communicate. So we don't have audio, so you're gonna have to listen attentively to this. Pardon, so 1% at a time, you say use the mic? Okay, I can do that.
Hi everyone, I'm giving my report via video call because I have another meeting and I can't make it today. So my office has been working on a lot of internal projects. For example, editing the apps application down from 20 pages from last year to half of that with the funding management team. And I've been working with James and Imran to edit the contingency and sponsorship applications, so that instead of having 2 separate confusing applications, we just have 1, and people can select what they want to apply for. We also had a meeting with Jasmine from AVP, and we're helping them find ways to incentivize consent training at different, within different student organizations. So we're thinking about either using funding incentives or other incentives as well. So let us know if there's anything you'd like to hop on the wagon for. We also had a meeting with PSC just now to figure out how service groups that are having community projects will be funded. And we're looking at ways to regulate their grant and make sure it's compliant with our bylaws. So maybe draft an MOU. So that's all. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to message me. Bye.
All right, that concludes CFO announcements. Moving forward, we have announcements from CLO Claire and William.
Yes!
I have one. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
Hello
everyone. We'll keep it brief since for a lot of people it's a fun holiday today. So first of all, the deadline for student fee referendum drafts was today. I hope everyone got a lot of my emails. Sorry we sent out so many, but always better safe than sorry. So the first student fee referendum committee meeting will be on Monday. I'll update everyone with a more concrete timeline for that so that Senate class can be aware of when those decisions will be coming up.
And just to let you all know, we've been getting some questions about AACC donations and how that works. And so we're hoping to make a resource, kind of like a fact sheet or an infographic, something like that, to better understand the process and how they're allocated. So look out for that.
Yes, and so the third point, please fill out the ASUC roster if you haven't. It's in our bylaws that the admin office and CPO are supposed to have this, and that's also a kind of a good best practice for us to have a roster, because in the spring, that's also how we determine who is eligible to come to our banquet. So it's really in everyone's best interest to fill that out. So thank you, everyone.
Are there questions, Senator Shaw?
Hey, thanks so much for coming. One of the RSOs that I'm involved with is doing crowdfunding campaign, and someone who could donate online was asked to send a check to UC Berkeley, and this is an RSO under the ASUC. And so I'm just wondering where the difference is between sending a check to UC Berkeley and earmarking it for that RSO versus sending it to the ASUC.
Yes, so if it is going to an RSO, it should be earmarked through the ASUC. So if they go on asuc.org/donate, there's a specific line where they can write what the donation should be earmarked for. So this is usually what we do when RSOs will request our tax ID number to give to different companies for fundraisers, and then they will donate using that system. So we can always talk offline and I can show you the screen if that's helpful.
Awesome. Any other questions for Claire? Final calls? Cool. Thanks so much, Claire. Moving quickly forward, we have CTO from Higher. Yes. 10 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leon Min. I'm Chief of Staff for the CTO. I'm here on behalf of Kyrie. And just to report, I'd like to go over two topics. First, a brief update on our office's work since the last meeting. And second, I want to address concerns among some that our office has not been adequately responding to communications from various groups in ASUC. I will review the overarching role of our office so as to provide rationale for a better framework for prioritizing inbound requests from all of you. So as I said, I'll begin with the office progress update, which will involve two of our current projects, Berkeley Mobile and Beehive. First, Berkeley Mobile. Since the mobile application was open source last spring this year, our most prominent goal has been to build library capacity information as well as printer availability information into the app. Current progress is steady, and we expect these features to roll out for roughly 2,000 monthly users within the next month. And that sums it up for Berkeley Mobile. Next, we have begun work in earnest on the Beehive project, having added a team of 5 engineers and 2 marketing folks to aid us in continued feature development and outreach. And as a project lead for Beehive this semester, I have met with various stakeholders and contributors to solidify our goals for the coming months. These stakeholders and contributors include the Office of the AVP. Thank you to Melanie and Michael in particular, and the Academic Resources team. The Office of Senator Ann Zabecki. Thank you, Ann and Ali in particular, and the Director of the Office of Undergraduate Research and Scholarships, Sean Burns, who has agreed to work with us on developing our message as we go forward with outreach to the research community. And that concludes our progress update. Next, I want to address concerns that our office has inadequately responded to requests from senators. I want to take this chance to formally acknowledge our failures in this regard and not only apologize on behalf of Kyrie and our office, but also outline a plan for improvement. And this leads me to my next point, a reminder of the scope of projects that we aim to work on, as well as a new system for boosting communication. If your office has considered or will consider sometime in the future proposing a technology project to our office, please tune in. As an office, we have always emphasized working on projects that provide unique long-term value to a significant portion of the student body. Projects like Berkeley Time, Berkeley Mobile, which have been around for a while and continue to provide benefit to many students in the coming years. And of all inbound requests, we typically see two categories: feature requests for existing websites and apps, and requests for new websites and applications. So the former kind, for example, if there's a wealth of academic sources of information that is being underutilized, and the proposal is to publicize this information on a widely used platform like Berkeley Time, that's a proposal that we'd be happy to consider. We've already have people developing the app, so we wouldn't need to recruit and train new staff members to build it out. And additionally, we can be certain that the project will be seen through to completion. And the latter kind, requests for new websites and applications. For these requests, we would need to perform idea validation, recruit, and train a new team of at least 5, gather and onboard all relevant stakeholders, seek and secure funding, and only then we get started. And development can take many hundreds of people hours. And that's why for these projects, we are more careful with prioritization. The project's goal does not benefit a sizable population, or if its value is short-term, or if we cannot prove that it will provide unique value, then our office is likely not a good fit. If you wish to work together with us on a large-scale, impactful project, we've created a few guidelines for what we're looking for. Before making a request to start a new project with us, please make sure you have 1, performed validation for your idea, 2, onboarded all necessary stakeholders, and 3, identified any sources of funding, for example, the Student Tech Fund. And to provide structure for this process, we will release a project proposal form sometime next week, and each submission will be carefully reviewed by every member of our office. The goals of this new process are twofold. I hope that the structured format will both increase communication between our office and other groups in the ASUC, and also help us provide better feedback to you. That is all I've prepared. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to respond to the best of my abilities.
Are there any questions? Looks like there's plenty. So we're going to start with Senator Greenwald, Senator Shao, and then Senator Speck, in that order. And then Senator Khan. Go ahead, Senator Greenwald. And then Senator Reed. I apologize.
Yes.
Hey, so last time that Kyrie was here, he said that he'd be sending out an email, and just everything you said, I think that it was kind of hard for us to all follow all the things that you said. That we can send an email to us.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Awesome, Senator Chow.
Hi, thanks for coming. I was wondering if you received an OCF, an email from the OCF by any chance within the past 3 weeks maybe?
I'm not sure. I will check and get back to you.
Okay, so, but yeah, since we're on that topic, we wanted to ask about migrating Berkeley Time to OCF servers. I think that would save a lot of money for the ACC in general, but also utilize the resources that we have in OCF. So, wanted to jumpstart that conversation.
Senator Specky.
Hi, thank you first of all for coming in and also for taking the time to not only think through how the office is structured, but also for communicating with us. Thank you. My question part of this is, could you tell me a little bit more about the features that are going to be added to Beehive, and what that kind of looks like beyond just improvements to the current existing site?
Sorry, what was the last bit?
What the new features would entail, aside from just whatever improvements are being made to the existing infrastructure of the site?
Right, okay. I can provide more specifics if you want. Right now, we're looking at building out a new email notification system, provide matching capabilities between students and projects. And I think the main goal at the moment, the highest priority for us, is to increase the volume on the website. So aside from that, if you're wondering more, we can have a meeting.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right, 3 minutes left on the clock. Senator Khan.
Hi, thanks for coming in. So thanks for letting us know the change that you're all going to make. I hope that in the future we'll at least get some sort of notification after we submit a project, because that was our main work that we just did this in an email. Moving forward, I think with this like proposal form that you all will be implementing, it would be helpful if after that you can set up a meeting or something so that folks that have a project can explain it to your office better, give you a better idea of what we want, and especially if we come from a tech background and we want some sort of technology as part of our goal to provide us with some options if your office can't take that on, especially like when those packages have capacity and can't do anything. Like if your office says no to us, then there's nothing for us to do. So if you can help us out in that way, like if there are any other alternatives to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I will make it my highest priority to respond to all requests from now on and indefinitely.
Senator Harish.
I had worked with Marissa earlier in the year to like consolidate mental health resources and try to get those on the Berkeley mobile app. And that wasn't one of the things that you mentioned coming out in the next month. So I was wondering if that feature was going to be included on this update or if that was being pushed back.
I am not, I don't have the information on that. I will talk to Marissa about it and we can set up another meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Wong.
I just wanted to echo Imran's point, like, for example, not all of our offices have engineers or sort of like folks who understand the technology that goes into building a website or things like that. And it's hard for us to do our own recruitment in that.
Yeah.
And so that's where we turn to look to the CTO, the office of the CTO, to get some help and feedback on some ideas.
Yeah. And for projects that we don't end up working on, we will, to the best of our abilities, provide you other options.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, any further questions? Okay, cool, thank you so much. Moving on to CPO announcements from Ellie. Is that in here? All right, sweet, moving on to the last appointed officials announcement of the night, CCO and
Get my slides. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Halloween. Morgan is passing out samples of the water bottles for you to see. Okay, thank you. Right, we are. They don't have lids because the lids are separate. But once when we do this, when we do distribute out the water bottles, trust me, they do lids. They do not need to drink from an open water bottle. Anyway, happy Halloween. Today I want to walk you through something that our office has been working on. It's called the Digital Sprout Conceptual Framework. It's the strategy we've been using to approach social media this year. So I just want to walk you guys through that. I think it'll be fun, it'll be cool. So what did I just click? Never mind. Cool. First, we wanted to talk about traditional outreach, right? So traditionally, outreach has always been about being on Sprout, being present, and we thought about what Sprout is to the UC Berkeley community. Sprout is not just a plaza, right? Sprout is also a place where we use to raise awareness about campaigns we're doing. It's a place we use to build school spirit. It's a place that clubs use for recruitment during the start of a semester. It's a place where we can do giveaways, give out the merchandise of those water bottles. And it's just a place for everyone to de-stress, like say the de-stress docs or things like that. So what we wanted to do is we want to rethink how we can actually recreate Sprout on using our social media. Because we thought about, number one, is Sprouting still the only effective form of communication? Earlier this year, we concluded that no, Sprouting is no longer as effective as before. That's why we no longer have tabling as mandatory for senators. But we have to think about how we can actually continue that presence for social media. Have you adapted to the shift, to a greater emphasis on things like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter? And does our digital presence actually do the same things as what we used to do in Sprout, how can we actually recreate that same experience? And so this is why we wanted to create a new conceptual framework for how we approach social media, and that's why we call our approach trying to create a digital Sprout. So this is what the conceptual framework looks like. What we want to do is that we want to be able to just do all the same things that people do in Sprout, that clubs do in Sprout, but on social media. We want to be able to generate positivity, raise awareness about the things that the ACC does, do recruitment for ACC offices, and also do giveaways. But instead of doing it on Sprout, we're able to do it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The goals: 1, we want to humanize the ACC. The ACC seems like a big institution. It seems like a massive bureaucracy, and it seems like something that's hard for students to penetrate into. So we want to be able to give the ACC a human face. Secondly, we want to raise awareness of the ACC resources. There's no point in doing all these events, in doing all these services, if people don't know about it. And finally, we want to promote a positive public perception of the ACC through social media. So I want to run you through like the different sorts of things we've been doing in accordance with our digital Sprout conceptual framework. Firstly, we started doing online giveaways last week. The first giveaway was a crossword puzzle, and we posted it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We gave out 4 ACC jackets. I saw many people in different Senate offices participate as well. I'm not sure if you were aware. Andy looks kind of surprised. So this is these were one of the students that won a cute ACC jacket. So this is only one of the first giveaways. We'll do more giveaways using the merch that we have as well. Secondly, we've been doing things like Motivational Monday and Fun Fact Friday to try to humanize the face of the ACC. So we've been doing Motivational Mondays every Monday. Our social media coordinator, Brian Huang, does all of these articles. I think they're really cute. If you have any more ideas, please let me know, because we continually run out of fun facts. So it's always good to have a big supply. And we've also been doing, we thought about flyering on Sprout, and so we wanted to recreate what flyering is, but on social media. And this is why we've been integrating the newly launched ACC blog into social media as well. This week, last week, we posted an article interviewing William Morrow about the Universal Locker Room project. So right now, we're also pushing that out through social media as a form of basically digital flyering. And secondly, we've been posting events. So for example, this post by our social media coordinators summarized all the Go Bear Go Vote events that have been happening throughout the ACC ecosystem. So that's really cool as well. Now, we want to keep growing our social media. So these are some of the things that we're looking at. 1, we want to link physical giveaways to social media follows. So what we've done is our staff has been in contact with the residence halls to look at trying to table within the units and trying to do giveaways to freshmen. And we want to link, if you want to be able to participate in a giveaway, you have to follow us on social media first. So we are able to drive social media growth that way. Secondly, we want to explore the use of paid ads. We do have a sizable office budget that we want to use, and we'll be looking more at this as well. If you have any ideas, please reach out. Third, we want to drive more word of mouth invites on Facebook, and this means that I really need your help in asking your staff to invite their friends to like the ACC Facebook page. This is often the most effective way that we can reach people. We had a big push a few weeks ago. We actually increased our likes by about 300 likes in the span of just 1 week. So if we can keep doing this, that's really beneficial for us, and it's beneficial for the ACC as a whole, as it's much easier to raise awareness if people like us on social media. We're also doing follow backs on Instagram, but progress has been a bit slower, but we've also increased our follows on Instagram by about 200 people as well. That's good. Right now, the total of our likes on Facebook, I think, is 5,700 people. So just a bit more until we reach 6,000. But ideally, we want to see a sizable increase as well, because 5,000 is only not even a quarter of the undergraduate student population. So something closer to 1/2 would be really good. But we are trying to do this step by step. Now, just some other things that my office has been up to. Firstly, working on internal communications. Berkeley project is this Saturday. This would be a good opportunity for people to meet each other across offices. Secondly, we're putting up new glass cases this Sunday. So we have glass cases in a few buildings: Evans, Wheeler, Dwinell, and Barrows. So we'll update the glass cases with information about the ACC, with this year's elected officials this Sunday. Third, we're doing our second blog post
I've asked my staff to do a post on our voting awareness campaigns this month. So that's really cool. And finally, we already started planning for recruitment for spring 2019 for ACC. So we already started working on flyers. Next semester, we want to do really cool printed flyers. We want to do giveaways, and we also want to do info sessions. So we'll be working closely with the Office of Personnel on making sure that this happens and that we can recruit more staff for next semester. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Anybody questions? Senator Wong.
Are you gonna have like a presentation during GBO? Because I feel like if you tell all the fresh, like all the newly admitted students that hey, this is the whole like going to plays, TF based on the university, that'd be a lot easier.
I agree. We actually talked about this among our staff, but the reason I didn't bring it up is because I'm not sure we can do it in time for GBO in spring 2019. If we can, I will update you all, but if we can't, then we'll most likely have to do it for fall 2019, but I won't be CCO then, so I don't know what will happen. Yeah.
Are there any other questions? 40 seconds left on the clock. Senator Greenwald.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, moving on. We have Senate committee reports, starting off with DROPCOM. Senator Sarkisian Duke.
This one. So we in GovCom, we chartered the Restorative Justice, or passed the Restorative Justice Commission charter. We finalized GA working groups. We established an ad hoc committee looking into ASUC scholarships, and then we appointed, or we did interviews for 2 people on elections council.
Awesome. Moving on to XCOM. Senator Lake.
Hi, so we had a very productive meeting. We finally finished having the first round of the advocacy agenda, which is past, which is exciting. As you know, it is a living document, so if we didn't get to add to it, it's not too late for us to talk. We also finished today our interviews for candidates for the Police Oversight Commission. We'll be making our recommendation for the appointment probably next week. And we passed a couple of really important bills on it. This is the consent calendar.
Cool. Moving on to FICOM. Senator Khan.
Yeah, so biggest news, as Sophie mentioned, is that we have one common formula for funding, contingency funding and sponsorships. So outside that, it's super cool. It's gonna be really it's gonna be easier for clubs and organizations to apply for sponsorship and funding at the same time if that's what they're doing, or one of the others. So it's a trigger form, so you can go in and click whether it's one thing or both. So that is published and ready to go. Okay, no, it's okay, it's good. But it's like good to go. Yeah, that was the biggest thing.
Which ears do you use for your headphones?
All right, moving on to second roll call of the night. Senator Arano. Senator Arano. Senator Boyle.
Yeah. Which one? Oh, boy.
With a B. Senator Carter.
Here.
Senator Chow.
Here.
Senator Boyle with a G.
Here.
Senator Greenwald. Here. Senator Harish.
Here.
Senator Khan.
Here.
Senator Kim. Senator Lake.
Here.
Senator Presley.
Here.
Senator Lee. Here. Senator Perez. Senator Sarkisian.
Here.
Senator Sun.
Yeah.
Senator Theoharis.
Present.
Senator Wong.
Here.
Senator Whitney.
Here.
Senator Wright.
Here.
And Senator Supecki.
Present.
Senator Arano. Here. Great. Moving on to consent calendar. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent calendar? If so, it goes into immediate consideration. There is no need for a second to the motion. Senator Chow.
I motion to pull SR 1819-001 for a roll call vote, and I motion to pull SR 1819-038 for a roll call vote and for discussion. For discussion and a roll call vote.
Okay, give me 1 second. We're gonna entertain your first motion. SR 1819-001, advocacy agenda has been put onto, I'm so sorry, that's not it. What we put onto immediate consideration, give me 1 second.
No. Yes.
What was your second motion? If we can all quiet down, that'd be great. Thank you.
I motion to pull SR 1819-038 for discussion and for a roll call vote.
Got it. Okay, now moving on, we are gonna address, can I have a, sorry, I apologize. Can I have a motion to pass the consent calendar? Senator Lee. Can I have a second, please? Senator Spivey.
Second.
Are there any objections? Awesome, the consent calendar has been passed unanimously. Moving on to immediate consideration, we are going to start off with item A, SR 1819-001, advocacy agenda. The floor is yours to make any motions.
Motion for a roll call vote.
Motion for a roll call vote. All right, we are beginning our roll call vote for the passage of SR 001, advocacy agenda. We are now going to start with roll call, so are you ready to tell? Yeah. Cool. So, point of information, there's 3 things you do when there's a roll call vote. You need 2/3 of the Senate to pass it, and you can either vote yes, no, or abstain. The rule for abstaining is you can only abstain if you do not know enough about this legislation piece, or 2, it is a conflict of interest for you and what you represent. Just so we make that clear. If there's none of that is pertains to you, you cannot abstain. We're going to begin with roll call. Senator Arano. Aye. Senator Boyle with the B.
Aye.
Senator Carter.
Aye.
Senator Chow. Senator Boyle.
Aye.
Senator Greenwald.
Aye.
Senator Harish.
Aye.
Senator Khan.
Aye.
Senator Kim. Senator Lake.
Aye.
Senator Bryce Lee. Aye. Senator Perez.
Aye.
Senator Sarkisian.
Aye.
Senator Sun.
Aye.
Senator Theoharis. Aye. Senator Wong.
Aye.
Senator Whitney.
Aye.
Senator Rice. Aye. Senator Sapecki.
Aye.
I apologize, Senator Lee. Awesome. So with that, the votes are 19 yes, 1 abstention, 0 no's. So SR 1819-001. Yes.
Senator Kim is not here.
I apologize. 18. That is still 2/3 of the vote with 1 abstention. So that means we're counting 18 total votes with 1 is absent and 1 abstaining. That is still a 2/3 majority. So we're passing the advocacy.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Does absence count as an abstention?
Absence, if there's an absence, yeah, we just count it as 19 total votes, and so you need 2/3 of those to pass, because we need quorum either way, so we're using what number we have for quorum as 2/3. If that helps clarify everything. Awesome, moving on to portion B of immediate consideration, SR 1819-38, Senator Chow, you had a motion to open it for discussion for how long?
I motion to open discussion for 10 minutes.
Awesome, can I get a second, please? Senator Lee. Are there any objections? You have 10 minutes of discussion, starting off with Senator Chow.
I've said, and I always will say, that discrimination against or harassment of any person or people group is never, ever okay. I certainly acknowledge any pain and experiences of individuals in this group who have gone through what no human being should ever go through. My heart truly breaks for you, even more so if your pain has come at the hands of bullies and bigots who purport to be Christians, but but show no ounce of the love and understanding that Christ gave you. These shameful individuals only perpetuate the toxic stereotype that my community and I vehemently abhor and even fight tooth and nail to strike from our identity as Christians in God. My God is one who assigns immeasurable value to and desires to love each and every human being. In God's eyes, and therefore my own, every one of you here today and in the LGBTQ+ community as a whole is significant, valid, and wanted. Even if and when our views differ.
Sorry, point of order. Please put all electronics away, as this is a debate that pertains to all of Senate body, which includes all of you vote. So you should all be paying attention. Thank you.
Jesus only had the deepest love and compassion for all who came to him. And I hope that my words and actions, in addition to the relationships that each of you and I have cultivated together over the past couple of years, have only demonstrated the same depth of love and compassion. That said, I cannot vote for these bills without compromising my values and my responsibility to the community that elected me to represent them. As a Christian, I personally do believe that certain acts and lifestyles conflict with what is good, right, and true. I believe that God created male and female at the beginning of time and designed sex for marriage between one man and one woman. For me, to love another person does not mean that I silently concur when at the bottom of my heart I do not believe that your choices are right or the best for you as an individual. Where this bill crosses the line for me is that I am asked to promote a choice of identities that I do not agree to be right or best for an individual, and to promote certain organizations that uphold values contrary to those of my community. After lengthy conversations with many of my community leaders and advisors, I've chosen to abstain from voting these bills tonight. In closing, I again affirm with all my heart that each one here in this room deserves nothing less than respect, acknowledgement, legal protection, and love, no matter your beliefs. I humbly ask that you extend the same respect and acknowledgement to my community as we continue this dialogue together. The Christian community is here to love and serve this campus in the way that we best know how. Thank you so much for understanding as my fellow Senate class, and please feel free to reach out to me at any time if you want to discuss this or anything else.
Awesome. How much time left on the clock? And we're still going through entertaining calls. So Senator Lake, you're up. 6 minutes.
Point of clarification. So the preface of all that was wonderful. You said you believe that all LGBT community members are valid, and then at the same time you said that you don't. So I'm just confused what the discrepancy is, because this bill, it implements nothing concrete. In fact, it's literally a bill that says you are valid legally, like you just said, and yet you can't vote for it. So that's where I'm confused. What is the truth?
Yeah.
Senator Chow.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. To be completely clear, where I wanted to abstain for both the advocacy agenda and this bill is the appropriate dissolved clauses. Those were the biggest ones for me, because the purpose of these organizations is to promote an identity that conflicts with my values and that I don't believe is the best for an individual.
Are there any other comments in this discussion?
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really confused on how someone can be valid and yet at the same time against your values as a Christian. As a gay Christian myself, how do I exist simultaneously valid and respecting? Obviously, as a professional, we work together, and yet at the same time, my identity is not valid to you, so you can't support my work or the communities I advocate for, and saying that I would support yours.
Go ahead.
I think the way I see this is that I can disagree with the purpose and the value and the mission of these organizations while still acknowledging your worth and your status as an individual. What I'm not saying is that you don't deserve protection. I think you definitely deserve protection, legal status, and validity, but I just disagree with the fact that these organizations promote and say that a certain identity is okay. I'm not saying that the identity should not exist. I'm not saying that it should be protected, but I'm saying that I cannot agree with the promotion of that identity. I'm not sure if that makes sense, please.
Yeah. So then I'm just gonna ask, in the future that you refrain from using practices like the one you made before, if that's misleading. I don't feel comfortable being told that I'm valid and saying don't disagree with me or my community. Just next time, just go right to the second part, if that's cool with you. Cause like, that's fine, just don't, there's no need to say that we're valid and that we deserve legal protection and like my voice is like shaking that because like the two are like inextricable for me. Like this is my community, my work, and like who I am as a person. So I don't understand where the line is, and I don't want to know. Like next time, just get right to it. That's all I'm gonna ask. Thanks.
All right, 4 minutes left on the clock. Any comments, last thoughts, points of debate? Senator Wright.
Motion pass bill.
You have the first motion to exit discussion. Thank you. Point of order. Yes, Senator Lee.
Motion to exit.
Is there a second, Senator Carter? Are there any objections? All right. We have exit discussion. What is the next motion?
Motion for a roll call vote.
There's a motion for a roll call. May I get a second? Senator Perez. Are there any objections? We are going to a roll call. Senator? Awesome. Senator Araujo. Aye. Senator Boyle P. Aye. Senator Carter. Aye. Senator Chow. Senator Goyle with the G.
Aye.
Senator Greenwald. Aye. Senator Harish. Aye. Senator Khan. Aye. Senator Kim. Senator Lake.
Aye.
Senator Bryce Lee. Aye. Senator Lee. Aye. Senator Perez. Aye. Senator Sarpiello. Senator Sun.
Aye.
Senator Theo Horace.
Aye.
Senator Wong.
Aye.
Senator Whitney.
Aye.
Senator Wright. Aye. Senator Sapecki.
Aye.
All right, that is above 2/3 majority. SR 18-1938 has passed. Moving on to new business. FR 18-19F11 will be going to VICOM. SR 18-1940 in support of a designated transfer housing facility will go to XCOM, and there are 3 nominations on new business as listed respectively for assistant election council chair, election prosecutor, and election auditor. Moving on to Senate announcements, we all have 9 seconds, so we can put that up pretty fast. And last week we started with Senator Khan, so this week we will be starting with Senator Chow. You have 9 seconds whenever you are ready.
I believe you started with me last time.
Oh, thank you for that clarification. So Senator Lee, you will start 10 seconds whenever you're ready.
Okay, so basically how we meeting was CFO tomorrow, at the CFO tomorrow, and then was Susan talk about international student, helping fund parking international office and international student aid and scholarship. And then collaborating with for a town hall, so it's East Asian Community Town Hall. Also doing collaborating with a lot of senators and different offices on international education. That's the week after the long
weekend. As many of you know, on Saturday, 11 Jewish community members of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh were gunned down, killed. One of those people was a Holocaust survivor and cousin of a student here at Berkeley. This 9-year-old, or I believe older than that, Holocaust survivor had survived anti-Semitism in the worst times in Germany and in terrible conditions to come to America only to be killed for the same thing years and years later. So all I ask is until my time is up, that we take a moment of silence to remember all those that lost their lives. Thank you.
I hosted workshops this past weekend on Friday and Sunday. It was very successful. Have an event coming up on Thursday of this coming week. That is a preview night of our teams that will be performing at Competition Post November. The team is coming next Saturday. So everyone invited. I'll probably be writing off that event soon on Facebook. 11 p.m. Hawk Pavilion. Watch us dance. Conversations ongoing with couple pharmacies and any communities I'm working with them. We're working on a list of all possible items being published on the REAP site. So hopefully clarify that process as well as all the transparency of pricing and communication regarding all health and pharmacy spaces as well as
Happy Halloween to everyone, and then tomorrow, Happy Day of the Lifers to all of you. An invitation from multiple campus departments, part of being the Sailor Z, Cosmology Housing, a couple of Chicano classes. We have the Dia de los Muertos ceremony and gallery tomorrow in Worcester Hall. So if at any point from 5 to 8 p.m. if you have some free time, I highly encourage you to go to Worcester Hall, that one funny looking building by the law school. At 5 o'clock, we're gonna have the galleries open. And when I mean like these altares are the shrines that we do to honor those that passed away before us. And these altares are beautiful, and a lot of students put a lot of work into them. And then at 6, we're gonna have the danza, and danza meets dance, and this is the danza that we do in honor of Dia de los Muertos, and it's super cultural, super traditional. It's super dope. And then at 7, everyone gets free food. So above all, I highly encourage y'all to come out tomorrow to the Dia de los Muertos Gallery. And it's also going to be open Friday from 12 to 5 as well. I know we're seeing everything tomorrow. So I was just going to announce today to see somebody there to kind of get a feel for what Dia de los Muertos is and what it means to members of our community. Thank you.
I launched a really cool graphic last night on my page about South Asian mental wellness resources. We're really excited about it. Looking for next steps on how to institutionalize these resources at Tang or in other forums. So reach out to me if you have any thoughts about that or like want to collaborate on how we can spread the word about these things. Having also a really cool pre-health panel last night that was dope at my department. We have an MCAT, an animated MCAT event this Saturday in the morning. There's going to be bagels. I'll probably come drop them off at after. We always have more, so look out for that. What else? Oh, working on 4-year plans for all the different pre-health tracks and getting that on the work behind. A lot of cool pre-med minor in the works as well. Proposal for that coming up soon. It's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
Hi, we have Mama's today, finally. That was 3 hours of pure joy. And just like a great day, because it just really influenced survivors on campus. I was really happy. What else are we doing? We have 16 days of nonviolence coming up soon. I think my director can reach out to a lot of different officers, so we'll have that. South Asian community leadership panel happening this weekend. We're trying to collaborate with Sequoia to play a really cool awareness next semester for a concert. I don't know how many of you know Ravina, but she's really, really awesome. I see it out there, yes. Good. What else are we doing? And then working with just different South Asian clubs and spaces. AAP Multicultural Festivals coming up. Participating in that. Participating in International Education Week. Thank you, James and Andy. Yes, I think that's it. Thank you.
Yesterday I didn't reach out to Spur because I was trying to get Mason Ramsey. He hasn't replied. But so something I am doing is we like I said, I was working with Kiwi to make like a commercial voting video on the main page, and also I have made attention meetings on that day too. And then additionally, we're making a big game t-shirt, so we will be selling via human class, most likely. We get a building on campus, the campus energy. And also we're me and two individuals actually iMessage plugin. If you guys know what party birds are, if you use Slack, we're planning party boxes and releasing that to the populace Berkeley. Also, in the office, we're working on various different things that are like something happening there. So.
Hi. Continuing to work for a resilient, diverse, beautiful community that has always and will always exist, whether people want to see it or not. Thanks.
So I'm meeting with Vice Pros, Paul Visados next Tuesday to talk more about the creation of the Entrepreneurship Student Mentoring Council to oversee AB 2664 and the funding that goes to support entrepreneurship spaces on campus. Last week I met with Tim Dreesen and he was really receptive to it, and so hopefully we'll be able to see the $2.2 million that was given to us by the state of California more effectively used to giving student entrepreneurs on campus the resources they need to be able to succeed. The nice thing is, just as I mentioned before, like the lead center, I know with Anthony Garrison, and we're working to ensure that recruiting next semester is going to be a much more smooth process that doesn't involve students waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning just to get a spot for the club to be able to have like a tab or a table on Sprawl. So, you know, we're trying to look out for all students' mental well-being when it comes to recruiting. And one last thing is the coding certificate is moving along. There's a town hall meeting this Sunday to finalize the requirements for a coding or data analysis certificate. Thank you.
Hi, my office next week is holding Queer Trans Week Week to raise visibility, support, and programming for queer and trans individuals in all Calgary's communities, with IMC, PHC, and MCGC, and NPHC. We'll be having a safer sex workshop at TAG, contest activities on Sproul, a screening Call Me By Your Name, and a community turn table at Alpha Phi. So please don't forget to create efficiencies, share space, and show allyship.
Thank you, Justin, again for the words, and I want to affirm our solidarity with the Jewish community. It is with a heavy and incredulous heart that for consecutive weeks I commemorate another life departed in the UC Berkeley community. Rebecca Bexley was my personal friend since 7th grade and was an integral part of the UC Berkeley creating their community with jubilation, spirit, passion, and intention. Jack's passed on Saturday, October 27th, at peace with himself and at peace with the love of God. I ask for another moment of silence and no lifetime of prayers, thanks, and thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your words and your work. In our office this week, we've been working towards this town hall that we're looking to have next Friday with the assistant DA, district attorney, all those kinds of things. Still working diligently on that. As Alex mentioned earlier, we had the Mayor's Student Advisory Board meeting. Talked a lot about housing. They got the Berkeley Fair Housing Ordinance passed. So that was a big win. For more student housing now, we're looking at coming to the next planning commission meeting, and inviting them to start on the implementation of the resolution, because student housing now was passed, but now the issue is just getting the city to actually implement these things and put these measures in place. And outside of that, we're progressing.
Hi, so we are working with Senator Carter's office on some iShow programming for QC3P. Also looking into sustainability, for baking weekend, we were able to possibly, and then,
So we in James are preparing for a meeting with Vice Chancellor tomorrow to discuss about funding for more international scholarships. My international focus is to try to come up with outside insurance companies so we can provide alternatives to fellowship for the students and for it. So we're meeting with Vice Provost on Monday with Melanie. And to discuss about funding bio for the international office, as well as finalizing a proposal for the international scholars. Also participating in international education, which we're taking over some cultural stuff from Europe and the Mediterranean. Last thing, also preparing a proposal on providing a permanent revenue stream for the career center.
Okay, yesterday we met with Dave Sherrill from Parking and Transportation, and he will be here in 2 weeks to talk about scooter with all of you, and it's really exciting. And we met with a staffer from Senator Spear's office, and it ended up being mostly just informational, but still having a development opportunity for staff. We had photos, and we all look very beautiful. We're doing a wake up vote event on Tuesday for bagels, say voted. Very cool. And we had a meeting with Concord and Vice Chancellor Ray about electrification of the energy grid, and we're having a meeting again next week with more people. Very exciting. And then the Chancellor's Advisory Committee on Sustainability is meeting tomorrow, and I'll be there to update on sustainable investments. And meeting on Friday with Surat to talk about sustainability in dorms and RSP. And we had the Mayor's Advisory Housing meeting, and that was pretty good. And yeah, I mean, looking forward to the meeting next month. I thought that was a good thing put together by OP. And then we had our community social, and we got clarity from Megan about screening process.
Hi everyone. So the first thing that I wanted to let you all know when hitting your inboxes soon is that Sean Burns, the director of the Office of Undergraduate Research, has been collaborating with my office, specifically a director of technical research. There's going to be a kind of new portal that he has been developing over the past couple of months that will encompass research, professional opportunities, and like trying to connect to greater Berkeley network through this discovery.berkeley.edu. And they have they have 2 working group meetings, so this is November 14th, in which they would like 10 students at each meeting to provide feedback from a diverse array of communities. So I really would appreciate if when I send this all to y'all, you could forward it on to your communities or members of your office or whoever you feel appropriate, so that we can have a lot of different student voices, student experiences on this, and just things in general are going smoothly by this. That's all. Happy Halloween.
Hi everyone, so I just want to spend a few seconds talking about general community events. Just ways to engage. The first one is you can donate supplies to the Central Americans seeking asylum in our country. You can donate clothes, shoes, hygiene products, canned food. So that can be turned into the CLSP between October 26th and November 8th. It's very crucial. This is just simple stuff that any sort of donation helps. Like I said, the Dia de los Muertos event next tomorrow. And then also, this past week we had our event with Penny's office and the mayor's and the health office with Matt Brooks. That was really great. It was an awesome event to hear out and hear experiences. What we have coming up is, well, we also met with Chris Worthington this week, and what we have coming up is we met with one of the financial coordinators in outreach, and we're having our event actually on November 15th for the financial aid workshop. So I asked all of you to so I'll send out an email to all of you regarding just that workshop and how you can be able to give that to people in your community, send that out because it's very important. It's really cool that there's people who financially not community to help. And then next one is meeting Foster Bond tomorrow, and then we're working with on the previous meeting around Title IX organizing, and we're putting up tips for this campaign. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So I had a meeting with ECE Bond about the WIPS competitions during this coming finals week. It'll be during Ramadan and most Muslims will be fasting. That's hard. Also, the Swana Initiative Coordinator position is going to be, we're going to start with those, so it's like the final week. So I urge you all to continue to publicize that. Like I said, we're going to have a gender sexuality workshop for the domestic coalition leaders. Next month, we're also planning creating a spending plan workshop next month for financial success. And then our mental health department is interested in working with any Greek senators for mental health in Greek life. So that's exciting. And then also we are going back and making sure the resource database is up to date and figuring out ways to create a resource pool.
I don't have a lot of announcements, but thank you guys again for respecting my brother. I know we're probably going to differ very strongly about this.
All right, any Senate announcements? We will move on to the final roll call and call it a night. Senator Raha. Here. Senator Boyle with the G.
Oh, yeah.
Senator Carter.
Here.
Senator Chow. Senator Boyle with the G. Senator Greenwald. Here. Senator Breed. Here. Senator Khan. Here. Senator Kim. Senator Lake.
Here.
Senator Bryce Lee. Here. Senator Lee. Senator Lee. Senator Perez.
Here.
Senator Sarkozy here. Senator Sun. Senator Gilmore.
Present.
Senator Wong.
Here.
Senator Whitney.
Here.
Senator Wright.
Here.
Senator Spector.
Present.
Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting at 9:54? Senator Perez. Is there a second? Senator Khan. Are there any objections? Without objections, this meeting has been adjourned at 9:54 p.m.
All of it. Yeah, of course. It was all after. Yeah. I don't believe so. Unfortunately.
So,
you asked. Yeah. This is
and or do you want me to walk something at home? If you could drop me off at home, that would be great. Thank
I know.
Yeah. Alright. Wait, Aaron. Yeah. We want to read it.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I forgot to.
How are you?